Hi, Laura. Hi, Shelly. Hey, Coach. Oh, good evening out there. Must be evening where you are. We still have quite a bit of light here, and we finally have the sun, so I'm excited about that. Hi, Kim. Good to see you guys here. I'm happy to be joining you this week. I'm Andrea Schindler from Whole Brain Teaching and Whole Brain Teachers of America. We have been getting together on Tuesdays. We started out on Tuesdays, and now we've moved to Mondays to talk about some whole brain teaching strategies in my classroom. And if you guys have never heard of whole brain teaching or you haven't had a chance to check it out, you definitely want to check out the website, wholebrainteaching.com. There's a ton of free downloads, and did I say free? All the downloads are free and the materials are great. There's also a forum where you can post questions, and you can also look up on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel that has tons of videos if you're interested in that. And then Coach B has some awesome books. Those books are the 122 Amazing Games. We also have our Teaching Challenging Students. So you definitely want to check out all those resources. So thank you guys for checking in with me. We have been talking every week about super improver writing. This is the latest and greatest from Coach B. He's actually been doing scopes on Sundays at 1 o'clock Pacific time. So hopefully you've been able to check those out. And then I'm showing you how we're using the Super Improver writing in kindergarten. So yes, Coach B, thanks for showing that wholebrainteaching.com for our website. So I'm going to remind you guys, because I know some of you haven't been able to be here with me every week, but when we started out at the beginning of this year, we started out with Super Improver coloring. And so I really quick want to show you that anchor chart and remind you the 4 weeks that we did on implementing the Super Improver. So let's take a look at this chart here. For those of you who weren't with me or haven't been with me, this is our Super Improver coloring. Week 1, we worked on neatness. Week 2, we worked on completeness. Week 3, we worked on color selection and creativity. And week 4, we worked on details. Now we are finishing up the year with our Super Improver writing. And so let me show you what we've been talking about each week. Oh, I'm going to throw that on the floor. Give me a "you're still cool." Okay, so we started out with neatness, just the same as we did with our coloring. Then we went to completeness, is what we talked about last week. Thank you. And I'm going to pick up our charts here on the floor so I can show you what we talked about this past week. So you guys can hang on here for a second. You guys can check out my Power Picks wall over there. You can see it in the back while I pick up our charts here and hang them back up. And let's see. Got to get some mightier clips for all these anchor charts here. Okay, let me show you what we talked about this week. Okay. There we go. All right, guys. Oh, and you're crooked. I'm so sorry. I'm going to be so great at this. It's just not today. Okay, so for this last week, let me show you about word selection and creativity. So if you remember on the coloring, we talked about color selection and creativity. This last week in our Super Improver writing, we talked about word selection creativity. So the steps for that is first, you want to use descriptive language, and next, be creative. So let's take a look over here. Here is my paper. Remember that I'm going to actually flip you guys around again and then flip you back out because it seems blurry on my. A quick hello, hi everybody. Hopefully when I go back, there we go. Now it seems clear. Okay, so here is my left-hand side of the paper. Remember that when we start our Super Improver writing, I give the kids a piece of paper that looks like this. They fold it in half and they only see one half of the paper. Now, they write a sentence based on a prompt, and we do it in the triple whammy format, which is one idea with 3 details. Now, since they have already gotten down the neatness and the completeness, once they finish their sentence, I'm having them go back and edit their paper by evaluating themselves. They're self-evaluating. So they go back themselves and they look for things like, which ones are my neatest letters? And they circle their neatest letters with their green crayon. Letters that they feel they may need to work on their next draft, they circle with a red crayon. They also go back and they circle, if they have a capital at the beginning, they get to circle it with green. If not, they're self-evaluating and they're circling that with red so that they can remember on their next draft that they're going to use a capital. They also do the same thing with punctuation. And then I have them read it out loud to themselves to make sure, do they have a complete message? Last week we talked about how completeness is a complete message. And if not, they're going to underline parts or add in words that they need to add in when they do their next super improver writing. So after about 5 to 7 minutes of them working on this side of the paper and their sentence, I'm walking around the classroom. I'm putting a red dot on their paper and I'm putting a green dot on their paper. Now for this particular week, they didn't know at the beginning of the week, each week, they never know what those color codes are for. They know it's something that they did well and something they need to improve on. So once I went around the classroom, I explained to them that this week's skill is word selection and creativity. So I told them, the first thing we want to remember when we're using word selection is we're going to select words that have descriptive language. We want to make sure we're really describing the nouns in our sentence. And we also want to show our wonderful character education skill of creativity, being creative in our writing. So I showed the students my sample and I said, look, Ms. Schindler got a red dot here and a green dot here. Let's take a look at what Ms. Schindler wrote. Ms. Schindler wrote, a bat flies, has wings, and has soft black fur. So what did you notice? Well, if you notice, this has more description and detail, but this is one of my areas that is lacking detail. So I had the students help me come up with a way, how could I be more creative and descriptive with this particular noun? Is where they helped me out. So this was what they came up with. A bat flies, and then this was their description. It has big, wide wings with lines on them and soft black fur. So I'll pan out again if you want to take a look. There's our word selection, creativity, our super improver skill for this week. And I gotta tell you, I'm sure you'll appreciate hearing this because all your hard work really does pay off. I am seeing, just in such a short amount of time, the first thing I'm seeing is I'm seeing that kids are editing themselves. They're going back, they're checking to make sure they themselves have remembered to put in their capitals and their periods. They're going back and slowly rereading every word in their sentence to make sure they have a complete message. They're going back and checking their neatness. So instead of so much of it being on the teacher, now they're taking over and they're taking ownership of their learning, and they're also taking ownership of their own editing skills. And I got to tell you guys, I've never experienced that in kindergarten ever. I've taught second. I'm getting a phone call and I'm trying to decline it. Again, like I said, yes, kids are proofreading and they're doing it automatically, coach. And I got to tell you, I have not seen this much success. I've never seen it in kindergarten. Number one, it's always been me pointing it out to the students and telling them what they need to do to proofread and to revise and to edit their papers. But even in second and third grade, I would give them rubrics. I've tried so many strategies. The best thing that we had for that was our paperclip proofreading that we had in whole brain teaching several years ago. But taking one little skill each week for them to look at and then having them go back and self-evaluate has been huge. So I have to tell you, that's been exciting. But on top of that, now the way that they're adding their descriptive language, their writing is just blossoming. They're coming up, they're sitting there and they're thinking about how many ways can I describe, how high is the bat flying. I had kids last week that were saying that we're talking about a jaguar runs as fast as a car. They were saying things like they were adding 2 or 3 adjectives to a noun they were describing. I had students who were talking about animals in the rainforest, and an example they said was a jaguar is like a cat, but it's much bigger and more ferocious. And I'm going, oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine how much better the writing has gotten just from the Super Improver writing. So I hope this helps you guys out. I love trying these things in my classroom. Coach B is amazing, and I love to bring back the results every week. Let's see, what all age groups is this? Okay, whole brain teaching, my friend, is actually pre-K all the way up to college. So if you are new to whole brain teaching, please check out the website. Please go to YouTube and check out our videos on YouTube. Coach B, who is the founder of Whole Brain Teaching, used it in his college class, all teaching philosophy. And those of you who had never had an experience of having a college teacher use it, I got to tell you, I had student teachers who came to my class who would see me using Whole Brain Teaching, who had had Coach B for their professor, who would get so excited and who would tell me, hey, this is so cool. My professor uses this. Do you want to see me do the lecture on Aristotle? So I don't think I've ever had anyone that excited to show me what the lecture on Aristotle is. So that's for you, Coach B. It's Coach B on YouTube. There's also, we're all on YouTube. There's all the way up from pre-K all the way up through high school. Although I don't think Coach B, unless you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Coach B ever did videotape a college lesson, and I wish he would have. However, if you come to a Whole Brain Teaching Conference, you're going to see that we teach the Whole Brain Teaching Conference the same way that we teach our class. So it's adults. Oh, you did, Coach? Okay, so check that out on the YouTube channel. I need to check that out. I need to show that to my kinders because I keep telling them we're going to do it like college students. So what are the other ones on YouTube? If you go onto the Whole Brain Teaching YouTube channel, you will see we have a ton of videos of all different grade levels. So if you go on there, you can see a bunch of grade levels. All, like I said, kindergarten all the way up. So I did see a question out there. One of your questions was, I believe, was how do we get other teachers excited about this? And I'm going to tell you, this is a grassroots movement. It's not a top-down movement. We're not consultants making a bunch of money coming in and trying to, yeah, no problem. I can't wait to hear what you find. And so we are just teachers in the classroom doing this day to day. So how does this fever spread? Well, this fever, this fire of whole brain teaching spreads when other teachers see us using it, when other teachers see the excitement of our students. So I would say you can share with other teachers the website, you can share with other teachers some of the things you're doing in your classroom, but really it's by, our promotion is by attraction rather than self-promotion. We're not going out and necessarily promoting this. People are attracted to it because they see what's happening in our classrooms. And I gotta tell you, sometimes, guys, don't give up. Sometimes it's a slow process. I have a very dear friend of mine who's been teaching at her school and has been using whole brain teaching for the last 7 years, and I've come out and I've done little in-services at her school, and she thought that it was never going to take off, and this year she's taking 5 teachers to the national conference. So I got to tell you, sometimes it's slow drip irrigation, but once they catch the fire, they love it. I got to tell you. District only programs for PD, which is a bummer, because let me tell you, then we just need to get into your district. You just need to send this information over to your superintendent. I will say to you, if they're not open to that for PD, we give a lot of information for free. We have the free scopes. So you can always be doing this as a study group ongoing. Also, the Facebook pages. Don't forget the Facebook pages. Don't forget the Facebook pages, because that's where you're going to also be able to tune in and get a lot of information and materials. For the person who talked about teaching art in the classroom, I have heard of specials like art teachers, music teachers, any of the teachers that push into classrooms who do use this method in the classroom with classes who've never been exposed to whole brain teaching. And so they just carry their rules along with them. They carry their scoreboard along with them. The great thing about this is these are back pocket things that you can have in your bag, and you can just teach them the core 4 strategies and use those during your teaching, and it will work wonders. I always hear great things. And in fact, that's also another way to catch the fire, because the teacher will see you using these strategies and will see how well their class responds and will want to know more about it. How can you get y'all to our district? Well, you can send us an email. I'm Andrea Schindler at wholebrainteaching.com. There's also Chris Biffle at wholebrainteaching.com. Email us, and we would love to set up something to come out to your district. So anyway, I don't know if there's any other questions out there. They turn and ask me. Yes, I'm telling you, that's the magic about whole brain teaching, is people will walk into your classroom and they'll just be, they're always amazed and want to know, what are you doing? What is this? So I missed last week and it's not on Catch. Okay, so I don't know why last week would not be on Catch. I know that as of May 4th, Catch is going away. However, our awesome Melissa Ortuno is taking all the videos off of Catch and uploading it to our YouTube channel. So you can check on our YouTube channel. And it's possible at the end of this series, I have one more week of Super Improvers, and I was going to talk about time management. But the following week after next week, if for some reason we've had a hard time pulling those videos off of Catch and getting them onto YouTube, I'll go over the Super Improver writing again. So anyway, so thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Andrea Schindler, Whole Brain Teachers of America, and just meeting here every week talking about whole brain teaching and the strategies and how we're implementing them in the classroom, in my kindergarten classroom. So if you want to see me again here, I know I'm so sad about Catch too. It was really handy. Thank you. I'll take that 10-finger woo. And if you guys want to check in with me next week, I'm here on Mondays at 3:30 Pacific time. We also have Chris Rexted, who's now on Wednesdays, and Coach B, who's on Sundays at 1 o'clock Pacific time. So thank you guys for tuning in. Oh, you teach K. It's such a wonderful world. It's our own special world. So hopefully I'll be able to see some of you guys this summer at the National Conference. It's definitely one you don't want to miss. 3 days. We have 3 days in Vegas and 3 days in Louisiana. So anyway, good to see you guys. Have a great week. Bye.